How big a difference does the saxophone mouthpiece actually make? Throughout my career as a saxophone player, I've gathered a nice little collection of saxophone mouthpieces. And today I just wanted to show you some of them that I keep in my mouthpiece drawer. So if you're thinking about upgrading your setup, or if you're just curious about how big a difference the mouthpiece will actually make, then keep watching, because hopefully this video can answer some of those questions. In full transparency, I am sponsored by Jody Jazz. I signed with them about a decade ago, and they sent me the Jody Jazz DV8 star mouthpiece for free. This is the mouthpiece I've been playing ever since. So for 10 years, I've been playing this mouthpiece exclusively. Does the fact that I'm sponsored affect my opinion about these mouthpieces? No, not at all. I am a professional saxophone player first, and I want to play the mouthpiece that is best for me. So the fact that I've been playing the Jody Jazz DV for the last decade is just really a testament to how good I think this mouthpiece is. Now there is one more mouthpiece in the mix here that I also got for free, but we're gonna get to that in a bit. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. But now let's dig into a little playtest of these mouthpieces. All right, so some of these mouthpieces are pretty different, and not only do they sound different, but they will also make me play them a little bit differently. I think that the biggest change you can make to your sound actually comes from the player. Like, we're making the sound of the saxophone. The mouthpiece is just a tool to get the sound that we want. So the most important thing is how you play the saxophone. Then comes the mouthpiece and reed combination, and then your horn. So if you consider yourself pretty far away from the saxophone sound that you want, changing the mouthpiece might help a little bit, but working on yourself, working on your embouchure and your control over your sound is what's going to really make a big impact. Now let me first show you what I sound like on my everyday mouthpiece, the Jody Jazz DV8 star. So I'm playing this mouthpiece right now with the Dario Silic Jazz 3 hard unfiled reed. I sometimes play harder reeds, and sometimes I go down to a 3 hard, just depending on the weather and whatever playing condition I'm in. But lately I feel like the 3 hards have been like the perfect reed strength for me. And that's coming from, I used to play 4 hards and 5s down to 4 mediums. And now I'm sort of in between 3 hard and 4 medium. And this mouthpiece is really nice and versatile. I can get it to be like really bright and punchy. But I can also get it to sound much like softer and darker if I needed to. All right, so now we're taking a step back in time for me. This is the last mouthpiece I played before switching to the Jody Jazz when I signed my sponsorship deal back in, I think it was 2015. And this is a Guardala mouthpiece, King. It sort of sits in the same category as the Jody Jazz mouthpiece, as a bright and punchy mouthpiece. But I find that my experience playing this one is pretty different from the Jody Jazz. To me, this one just has a little bit more of those higher, harsher overtones, while I feel like the Jody is a little bit more rounded. But it's still a really great mouthpiece that I keep as like my backup mouthpiece. Let's move on to one of the first mouthpieces that I got when I was about 15 or 16 years, I think. And this is an Otto Tone Master. The tip opening is an 8, and I haven't played this one in a while, so I'm curious to see how it feels now, because this used to be my main mouthpiece in like high school and my early days at Berklee College of Music. First, I just gotta figure out what ligature will work with this. Maybe the Jody? Oh, it doesn't work. Okay, here we go. I found a V16 Van Doren ligature. I think I bought this for this mouthpiece, or for one. I have several Otto links, but this is just the best Otto link I've got. And this one is a bit tighter around my neck as well, so I need to put on some cork grease. All right, Otto Link Tone Master. Let's see what it sounds like. That's a very different mouthpiece than what I'm used to playing, and it's a lot darker, and it feels a little weird to play it after I've played the Jody Jazz pretty much exclusively for the past 10 years. When I was younger, everybody told me that Otto Link were like the greatest mouthpieces ever made, and all my heroes played Otto Links, like John Coltrane. And that's why I thought, I need to play an Otto Link to sound like those people. But as I grew older and sort of figured out what I wanted and how my saxophone setup and my body worked together, I realized that I wasn't an Otto Link person. So even if people tell you what you need to play, you really just have to figure it out for yourself, because ultimately it's you who have to make that choice. So Otto Link, great mouthpieces. They're just not the mouthpieces that give me the sound that I want. And now I wanted to show you sort of like an underdog mouthpiece. And this is the Yamaha mouthpiece that came with my old Custom Z saxophone. So this is just to show you what the stock saxophone mouthpiece that came with your saxophone will sound like. It's got its limitations. I definitely recommend getting a new mouthpiece if you're still playing the stock mouthpiece that came with your saxophone. But just to show you, here is the Yamaha Custom mouthpiece. Tip opening 4 centimeters. Oh, Jesus, this is hard to play. Oh, I'm so used to a mouthpiece where I can lean more into it. This thing has no resistance. So as soon as I start to lean into the mouthpiece, the tone just breaks apart. So I'm going to need to play this for 5 minutes before I get used to it. So not a good mouthpiece. Maybe it is for some people, but for me, this is definitely not a good mouthpiece. So yeah, that should show you just how big an impact the changing from a stock saxophone mouthpiece to something a little bit more high-end can make. All right, so now we're moving on to the first high baffle mouthpiece that I ever played. And I'm showing you this just to show you how important the condition of the mouthpiece is. Because this used to be a nice mouthpiece when I purchased it, but at some point I have dropped this and it's got a pretty bad dent right by the tip opening here. And that has really just damaged the sound of the mouthpiece. So I don't really know if anyone will be able to restore this thing, but I'm thinking about taking it to someone skilled at refacing mouthpieces to see if that's possible. But I want to show it to you anyway, just to show you that a damaged mouthpiece is not going to work. I'm going to try to show you what it looks like. It's got a pretty bad dent here on the tip. So as you can see, damaged mouthpiece, not really playing that well anymore. But if you or someone you know are skilled at refacing mouthpieces, I would be interested to get in touch. Maybe it could be a little YouTube video about refacing mouthpieces and seeing if we can get this thing back in playing condition. All right, so for the final mouthpiece, this is another mouthpiece that I actually like, but it's really different from the Jody Jazz. This is a select jazz mouthpiece by D'Addario. It's a D8M. And this is another mouthpiece that was sent to me for free by D'Addario when this came out. They sent it to me just to try it out and get some feedback. I actually use this mouthpiece sometimes because I record a lot of saxophone sections for big band arrangements and stuff. And when I switch from first alto to second alto or from first tenor to second tenor, I switch the mouthpiece as well, just to give the different section players some different characteristics. And it just really makes it so that all the overtones don't collide in the unison parts, especially on the big band arrangements. So this is my second tenor mouthpiece for all my sax section work. So yeah, another good mouthpiece that I enjoy playing on, but it's just not the sound that I'm going for. There are so many mouthpieces out there to choose from, and this is just a handful that I've picked up over the years. I hope this sort of goes to show that mouthpieces make a big difference, but that the player makes the biggest difference. Let me know in the comments what your current saxophone setup is, and if you have a mouthpiece that you're eyeballing or really want to get your hands on. And then maybe someone else in the comments have tried that particular mouthpiece and can give you some of their thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And YouTube thinks you might want to watch this video next.